Just streaming in here, so I'm just going to give it just a minute.
Oh.
Folks are
Hey
joining
guys.
from the waiting room.
Yeah, well, everybody's getting in and getting settled. I'm Kira again with Plaid. If you are joining us, again, we've been teaching these classes for a couple months, and we have Sherry today, who is part of our content team, and she is our DIY expert. You guys, this woman could make a chair from like this tiny little piece of wood. Like, she can make anything out of nothing. So she is our chalk expert. So she's going to be here today. Just we're both going to be walking you through, just talking about how great this product is, the chalk paint, and showing you a ton of examples and ways you can use this, whether it's craft or you really want to tackle a big piece of furniture. And we're going to do some mason jar painting at the end, so you guys will have a project that you completed. So again, if you are painting along with us, ask questions, comment. John is in the other studio. He's going to be able to answer for us, so he can relay the messages or chat with you. And if you are not able to paint along with us and you're just watching to get inspired, don't forget that this video is available on michaels.com on the community classroom after. So you can go back and watch this, whether you're ready to craft or you just want to get some more information and get a refresh. You can always watch this after when you have some me time and have your supplies. Also, all these supplies, all the paint and brushes are available at Michaels on michaels.com or in store if you can still get to a store. I know a lot of stores are still doing curbside and delivery. If not, you can go ahead and order it all on michaels.com, which is great. Thank you, Michaels, for having us. We love being here, and we're going to get started if everybody's in, John.
It looks like people are filing in. We've already got people who are very excited. Megan says, I am so excited. We've got just folks, when you join, drop me a quick note on the chat. Let me know where you're joining us from, and we are excited to get started.
And then, John, you're going to be doing a giveaway at the end, right?
We are going to be doing a giveaway at the end. So please be sure to ask your questions here in the chat, to comment here in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking about the projects as we go through it, because I am going to be selecting a winner randomly from among the from all the comments at the end to win a $50 prize pack. Oh my gosh. Okay. When you ask people to do it, they do it, right? Because I'm seeing Alberta, Canada. I'm seeing Alaska. I saw South Florida, Mississippi, Wisconsin, California, Florida, Chicago.
And no pressure, right?
Washington State. Like, it's awesome. So everybody is ready to go, it looks like.
Okay, like I said, we're going to talk really walk through. This is the first time we've done a FolkArt home decor chalk class, so we're going to talk a lot about the product and show different technique, because that's what's really important about this paint, is so many different things you can do with it. And then again, we're going to, Cher's going to show you how to paint some mason jars and distress them. So we hope everybody's inspired and ask lots of questions. So the real star of the show is the FolkArt home decor chalk. So this is a ultra matte finish. It is the most matte finish. So no shine, no gloss. Paints on like it just glides on the surface. It is self-leveling. You can layer it, distress it. It's quick drying. You can use it alone, or you can also use it with the wax, and we're going to show you the difference. It comes in 8-ounce and 2-ounce, which is great. So if you're doing a larger project, you want to get your 8-ounce. If you want to do like a smaller picture frame or some detail work, you can get it in the 2-ounce, which is nice. So there's options. It works with stenciling. So again, endless what you can do with this. So I think we really want to we're going to show a couple different techniques and paint it out and just really work through it and ask questions, because we can kind of pivot. Again, we've got picture frames we've done. We're going to show you how to distress and stencil. These mason jars are beautiful. Sherry just did these. And this is just 3 colors of chalk paint and white, and she ombreed them. So this is a beautiful technique. And again, behind us, you can see we've got, this is just a crate, again, at Michaels, and chalk painted it. So this is great for all the unfinished wood that's there. Something else that's really great about this, if you're doing a large piece of furniture, it's no prep.
Right, that's the best part, is there's no prep.
So that means you don't have to clean it well, you have to clean it, fine. You have to clean it, but you don't have to sand it or do anything to it. As long as you have a clean surface, you can go right over another finish that you have. So it's not like hours or chemicals of sanding and peeling. You have an old piece of furniture that you got from the thrift store or just even your house, you could paint right over top of it. You don't have to worry about sanding it or prepping it.
You just bring it home and start.
Clean it off and paint it up. So, and again, it's really forgiving. It's self-leveling, so you don't get brush strokes. And self-leveling means, you know, you brush that on, and then when it dries, you're going to get a really nice, smooth, matte finish. So, yeah. So, yeah.
And
so
already, folks are. We had somebody asking about the wax, so I'm sure you're going to get to it. So, just as an overview, what does the wax do?
Yep. You want to tell them?
Yes. The wax gives a protective. It protects the surface. It also gives a really nice buffed sheen.
So it's not shiny. So
No.
that chalk is very matte, and we're going to show you the difference. We're going to put some wax on this. So it's like a very subtle sheen. So it's still matte. It's not shiny.
No, it's not shiny at all.
And again, it's just some protection from wear and tear. So you can use it with or use it without it. We did talk about indoor outdoor before we started because we thought some people would want to know. So Sherry, we think the best way to say it is you could put it outside. I would seal and protect it with a varnish, and I would just keep it out of the elements. Like if it's something you can cover, if it's something that's going to sit in the sun and be beat down by rain and snow, chalk paint isn't great for it. It'll last if you seal it, but it's not like a true outdoor paint. It's really great for indoor.
Yeah. Yes.
So.
Okay.
Okay. So you want to get started?
Sure.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you a few ways to distress them. Things like right here is an old baluster that we bought at the Country Living Fair last year, and as you can tell, it's really old. All the paint is chipping off, and so I'm going to show you how you can get that same effect, but on a plain piece of wood. Well, I'll go ahead and take that.
yeah.
So first, I'm going to take some of the licorice. This is chalk paint. This is not regular FolkArt. This is the rich black, and I'm going to put it
and it's really thick, so you can see when it comes out of the bottle, like it's super duper thick.
And I'm just going to put just a little bit on.
And a little bit goes a long way with
Yes, yeah, it does. You don't need as many coats as you would think. So I'm going to add a little bit of water.
And you can see, I'm going to hold up the original again. So again, we found this, we were together at a flea market back in the fall. And this is just an old like banister. So you can see like this white is actually like chippy old paint, but it's so beautiful and you want to recreate that. So you may not be able to find that perfect piece, or a leg is broken, you want to replicate that. So this is a great technique.
So I watered it down quite a bit, and then I'm probably going to need a little bit more.
So it's almost like a stain.
Yes.
And this is just unfinished piece of wood.
And I'm going to brush it on. Maybe a little bit more, a little darker.
And so it's mostly water.
Yeah, mostly water. You just want to give it that grayish tint to it.
So,
go ahead.
Sherry, is there a certain type of bristle on the brush that creates fewer streaks or is better for this?
Well, there aren't any streaks on here at all. This eventually soaks into the wood for this particular thing. But even when you use, we do have our chalk paint brushes that worked really well because of the paint. It's so self leveling that there are no brush strokes. Once it dries, it's perfect.
So you can use any brush, and again, Sherry's just using a FolkArt brush to do the stain, but we do carry these really great home decor brushes at Michael's, and they are great for the paint and the wax. And the way that the bristles are, it just holds the chalk paint so it's so thick. So when you go to put it on, it really like fills up the brush and you can get a really good even coat. And it's also great for the wax. You can apply the wax with a cloth and we'll show you, but you can also use this brush and it's almost like a swirly motion that you can apply the wax. Especially if you're doing like a detail frame that has a lot of intricate parts and pieces, you could really get in those like nook and crannies with this brush. It's really great in full. You can see that.
Oh yeah,
So
Curious. They wanted to see a close up of the brush one more time.
Yep.
If you can, yeah.
So here's overhead. It's really thick and full. And then, look at that. So it's a great brush to have if you're using chalk paint. It's super soft. And again, you're gonna get no brush strokes and it's gonna really hold that paint so you get a nice, smooth, even coat. And again, it's self-leveling, but this really helps.
So I finished. This is with the black on it, with watered down, and this is what it looks like when it dries.
Which is beautiful. You've just created a stain,
Yeah,
a really matte stain.
Which is very similar to
Yep, I got it.
this color. This right
We're not
here.
used to being near people.
So I don't know if you can see the.
Yeah, right there.
All right, so the next part is magical. This is the best secret ever. We're gonna take a piece of scrap wood, just a little square, and
Okay, so we're just gonna use a white paint. This is like an off-white. Ooh, really thick. There you go.
and we're just gonna dip the block into the paint like that, and brush, rub a little bit off, and I don't know if you can see how much is on there. And now, watch the magic. This is so awesome.
Yep.
You're just gonna rub it across the.
So you're almost skimming the top of it.
Yeah, it's just skimming the top. So it makes it look like the paint has been peeling off.
But you're also actually doing the reverse. You're putting it back on, but it's like a faux distress. So
Yeah.
it looks like it's been aged and picky and flaked. I mean, it looks just like this.
And you know, one of the things with chalk paint, and one of the traditional ways to do it, is where you have two different layers of paint. You would paint it one color, and then on top of that do another color, and you know it takes a lot of time to do that. So this is so much easier. Yeah, so here we have, actually I started with the gray, and then I blocked the blue. So even though it looks like it's actually the gray's peeling off, and what you see underneath is the blue. But instead of having sand, all that, this is all you have to do. You just
And you're just skimming that block.
Yeah, people are loving this. They a bunch of questions about the block itself. So Sherry, explain. It's just a regular
this is
piece
literally
of wood, right?
I went and I got on the miter saw and I just chopped these up. These right here. That's
So
all
it's
they
like a
are.
2x2 square.
Yeah.
And bigger project, you can have a bigger piece, but this is great because it fits right in your hands.
And I mean, I've used like a really, almost like a 2x4 to do my walls in my bedroom. So I mean, even, you know, the larger the surface, you can have the larger the block. It makes it, you know, easier and faster.
And then the white paint was unwatered. It was straight out of the jar, just dragged right across.
Yep, right, straight out of the jar.
Yeah, we can do it again if you guys want to see. We have another piece here.
Okay, so
You want to grab a? Do the same.
Vicky says it's a game changer, and she's right. It really is. Instead of having to sand all the way back to that layer below, you're just putting that accent color right on top.
it's amazing too, because if you want to do the layers, like, you know, you take say this, you know, we do the white on here, and then to really show some more age, you can, once this dries, you could take another color and go back over it, and it looks like you're going even further deep into the furniture, you know, the layers of paint, when actually it's brand new piece of
Yeah,
wood.
so here, you could do white on him.
Oh yeah.
Is there
So-
one area or another where you focus? I noticed you do the edges first. What's the technique on that?
I normally go where the normal wear is on a piece of furniture. wherever it's gonna, people are gonna be rubbing against it, or things might nick it. And then usually like in the center, I may not do so much. I may have a few spots that are a little heavy, but mainly around the edges. When I do get to the middle, sometimes I will just very lightly skim it. So it's just like, it looks like it's been sanded too. You know, it's amazing. It was a game changer for me too. When the first time that I saw someone do this, and I didn't want to tell anybody.
That you faked it.
Yeah, that I was faking it. But also, yeah. So here, this is another great thing that you could do. I made this shelf, and here I cut out these strips of paper from, or just scrapbook paper, and Mod Podge these on the back of here. And I used a block just like this, and I went and I did in between each piece of paper, because let's say this was really worn down, then the edges would be worn first. They would be kind of like torn away, and you would be able to see the paint that's underneath it. So I do have a little scrap.
So yeah, again, you just Mod Podge your paper on, and you can make it look distressed, which would be beautiful, like in an old book. You could do drawer fronts like that.
I mean, it's awesome. So here, I'm just doing.
Instead of trying to rip your paper and make it look intentional,
right,
you can just add paint. You could do a contrast color. You could do something that matches.
And here, I just go across it, and
people are loving this, guys. They're thinking how great this is. And people were wondering, are there other things that you can use? Like, could you use steel wool, or could you use a palette knife instead of a wood block?
A palette knife would work. Steel wool, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that would maybe put too much on there. I'm not sure.
I think that flat surface, you just get a skim, and it's like all about the pressure too. So you want to play with it. Like the more you press, the more paint. The lighter you skim, like Sherry did down the middle, the lighter and less paint you're gonna get. Yes. Yeah. So, and again, because it's a block of wooden paint, it's easy to practice on.
Yeah, this is my favorite thing ever. I mean,
amazing.
I am a true lover of our chalk paint.
It's awesome.
Okay, so
yeah, just set that back. And then we want to show this frame, because then we can talk about the wax. I was thinking too, we could show the brush just with the chalk paint.
Okay, yes.
So yeah, I'm just gonna keep using this white because it's really pretty and it shows up. So again, this was a frame. It was just an old, like, repurposed frame. It was like an ugly gold. So chalk painted this, let it dry, and then, I mean, just wanted to show you, like, this brush, how great it is, how easy it is. And you can almost swirl it and really get it in all those little spaces. Because if you were just using a regular brush, you would miss and you'd have to really go back in. But the way this brush is made, that it really gets in all those little areas.
And you can probably bounce too. I mean, it dries so flat. The self-leveling on this paint is just insane. My son did a piece, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to be awful. And when I went to look at the piece of furniture that he had painted, it was perfect.
And that's just one coat of white over green. So that is great coverage. A lot of times you only need one coat. So again, an old frame, did nothing to it, just made sure it was clean. Green chalk paint on top. And then this white, you could just hit it. You could distress it. You could even hit it the block around the edges. I think we want to talk about the wax, because that's really also a fun thing to do. So this is the wax. Like we said, this is clear, so it's not going to change the color of your chalk paint. And what's great is that it provides like a very subtle matte sheen, if that makes sense. Like, it is not going to be shiny. It's just going to be, you'll be able to see like a subtle difference, especially like if you move it around. And it's so great because it does add just a little bit more protection, and it changes the feel. It's more smooth.
Soft, yeah, it feels really soft.
And it comes out white. So even though this is clear, don't worry. It's going to go on, and Sherry's going to show you that it's going to turn clear, so it's not going to be white and goopy. It's kind of like Mod Podge. When it comes out, it's milky and it dries completely clear.
Now you want to be you want to be kind of light-handed here, because you don't want to get too much, because too much could mess up your project. So I am literally just getting a tiny bit.
Like dry brushing.
Yeah, and I'm working it into the brush.
Again, you want to really like load your brush.
Yes, and then I'm doing like a circular motion, sort of like to break some of the wax down. And it dries pretty quick, as long as you don't get, I don't know if you can see on the camera.
So a lot of people can see.
Yeah.
It is a very subtle sheen, and then what you do is you let it dry, and then you just lightly buff it with just a cotton, like lint-free towel, and it'll bring out that sheen.
Yeah, just something, you know, you just want to take this and you just want to rub it once it's dry. But it usually takes about like an hour for it to dry completely, and before you can buff it.
And you want to make sure your chalk paint's dry also.
Yes.
Before you put the wax. So, and chalk paint dries so quick, so it's not like a 24-hour thing. Like, you can dry it and go back to it, add another coat, layer, distress, add your wax, all within a day if your project isn't large. It's not something you need to plan like multiple days, which is so great.
So, Kira, and Sherry, several folks were asking about if you could distress the white. So you could like layer this white on top and then sand some of it back to show the green through, or you could do your block technique, right, and layer the white on top.
Absolutely, absolutely. We actually could try that.
We could sand down. It's still wet. We can let him dry, then come back to it.
Yeah.
Yep. And here's a frame that we did too, like I showed. This is 2 different colors of chalk paint, and then just block the white on, so it just looks like it's distressed. What else do you got back here? So great thing is that this is great for wood, metal, plastic, glass. Like I said, it's not like a lot of wear and tear usage, but for decorative purposes only. So these are just inexpensive plastic frames.
Yeah, it's the hard plastic, not like the
and then just chalk painted, and there's no streaks. That's the thing. Sometimes when you go to paint plastic, even with our acrylic paint, you get streaks, or it's a lot of coats. This, you can see the reflection. This is one coat of the chalk paint. It just goes on really smooth. And again, you could go back and you could distress it. You could layer it. You could do it more chunky. You could even do it with a brush, like, since this is a really curved surface, but you could give it, just a really distressed look. And it's not just that shabby chic look anymore either. I feel like a couple of years ago, like, it was all about that shabby chic, but it's really like elevated, and it's more just decor. Sherry did this beautiful jar, and this is, I'm gonna hold it up so you guys can see, but that is chalk paint, and that's the detail that you can get.
Yeah.
So you can stencil with it too. Do you wanna show them that piece that shows the stenciling?
So here we have, I don't know if anybody's ever tried crackling, but it's really, really tricky. So we have a stencil that you can use to show faux crackle, and it looks exactly the same.
I'm gonna just stencil on here.
Yeah.
Wow, people are blown away by that, because they are that totally looks like real crackling.
We're gonna crackle with dark. So again, 2 ounce, great for little projects. You can get the big ounce if you're doing a big furniture piece.
So this is the same thing. It's you're going kind of backwards. So the crackle is going to be the color that's supposed to be underneath, but actually it's going to be stenciled on top. So you just want to dip your paint.
And you're just using a regular stencil brush for this.
Yeah. And take some of it off. And then you could swirl.
You could pound,
or you could pounce.
Or swirler.
On both.
Depends on the day.
This is such an awesome.
And you're just using another color of the blue chalk paint in this case, correct?
Yep. Yep.
Yep. A lot of folks have been asking, you know, I think a couple people maybe have joined right after the initial introduction. So they're wondering, just run us quickly again, how chalk paint is different than traditional acrylic.
Yep. So chalk paint is ultra matte finish, and it's different than acrylic because it really does. It's a no prep that goes on just about any surface. A piece of furniture, an old frame, you don't have to buff it, sand it, prepare it. You can just make sure it's clean and you can paint over it. But it's really an ultra matte finish. It's also self-leveling, so it's very easy to use. You can layer and distress it on top of each other and really create, like Sherry showed you, that different, like really chippy look. So it is really different than a typical like acrylic that we usually paint with FolkArt. So it's very much more home decor. Again, it comes in a 2 ounce, which is great because you could do smaller projects like mason jars and picture frames. But it also comes in the big jars, so you could do your entire piece of furniture. Also, I have used this in a sprayer before. So I've done an entire dresser, put this with a little bit of water, and it was like a Wagner sprayer, and I sprayed the whole dresser, and it was beautiful because it self-levels.
Yes.
So even not being an expert, like scared to use a sprayer, it was super duper easy to do.
Another thing about it is, say, like I use the chalk paint for everything. It doesn't matter if I want a matte finish, a satin finish, or a gloss finish. I will still use the chalk paint, and then if I do want a gloss finish, then I could just get a gloss varnish to go over on top, and then it's perfect. So you know, you don't just because it's chalk paint doesn't mean you have to keep it matte. It's just such a great product.
Yeah, that's a great tip, Sherry, because I mean, you know, it's such an easy paint to use, like you say, that you know, people may just think, oh, I can't use it unless I want that matte, but you can get the benefits of it and then just put a glossy varnish on it. So that's great.
Or wax if you just want a little bit more and a smoother finish. Also, we use it as a base coat here in the studio too. So say we're painting or you have a thin acrylic or something and you just need a really good coat, use a coordinating color to base coat under it, and then that paint, that acrylic paint, is going to stick perfectly. It almost like absorbs it. You're going to get really great coverage. So we've done that a lot, even painting mason jars before and glass. Like, it's just a really great base coat that you can paint on top of because it is so matte. It'll take anything you put on top of it.
Yeah, and since it's sticking, whatever you know you're painting on top of that, on top of the paint will stay. I mean, it's like you can do it on tin. Glass, you know,
like plastic.
So,
plastic is a nightmare.
I know that you guys are getting ready to show. We're going to do a mason jar at some point, but people are asking about surface prep for glass. Do you really need to prep the surface?
You need to. You do need to wipe it down with rubbing alcohol, which I know is kind of hard to find right now. So you also you could wash it with soap and water.
Just make sure it's just nice and clean.
Yeah, get all the oils, you know, off of them. But here, these are some recyclable bottles that I had at home, and I just taped them off and painted them and sanded them.
Yeah, do you want to show some more sanding? So if you do want to do, because then the bottle comes through. This would be beautiful on wine bottles.
I just take regular sandpaper.
What grit is that? What grit would you recommend, or does it depend on your surface?
I prefer, this actually is not, I would do like 220, but this is what we had. So, you know, just so it doesn't leave any marks. You don't want to go too deep, and you don't want to scratch your glass either. So, but you just, you know, just.
Yeah, she's over the spray.
I don't know.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. We're going to cut to the overhead so we can see it. Perfect.
There we go. So see, it's really easy, and it's not like peeling off or anything. It's just gradually taking away the paint.
It'd be really pretty to put like twinkle lights in there. Then you could do like those battery operated lights.
Yeah.
And you would get light here, but then you would also get some peeking through where you sanded off the chalk paint.
Yeah. But,
yeah.
These
I
turned
love
out
this.
really pretty.
Yeah, these are great. And again, wine bottles, this would be perfect. This is just a basket that was chalk painted. So again, what's great is with this brush, sometimes baskets again are hard to paint, like get in, but this paint, you can just take this chalk brush and you can really work it in, and it's gonna get in and level and not be goopy. because it's really easy to control. So it's not going to run. You can load up your brush and just go to town on there and paint it.
It's also, I know that we've done projects before where we've taken like paper lunch bags and have painted the outside, and you could like put like a little plan in it. You know, it's endless what you can do.
You can use it on fabric too, like a heavy canvas for decorative purposes. You can't wash it, but again, if you were doing like a decorative pillow or like a tote bag that wasn't going to get washed, that's a great thing you can use this on.
A couple of people have asked about clay pots. So which I know it works great, but they also were wondering, would you seal them first?
I probably would not seal them. I'd probably just, you know, do it right on the
yeah. Or maybe you seal the inside so that when you water the plant and then the liquid from the clay doesn't come through your pot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, right on terracotta again. Great. And I think you just did some dry brushing on there to make it look distressed.
And could you use it on laminate, Sherry?
Yes, you can. I know you could buy those like cube shelves. I've had a few of those and painted on top of that, and it's beautiful. Like it came that way. I mean, it's great. You could do those, and then you could add some legs to it and just completely transform, you know, a piece.
Yeah. It really is a versatile project. I mean, we had some folks that we work with, they painted a sofa with it, for heaven's sakes. I mean, you can do everything from fabric to pots to wood to glass. I mean, it's an amazing product for sure.
And I think it is just the flip. Like, imagine like this technique on a drawer front, you know, it would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Do like awesome, like a knob on there. It would be so beautiful to do all your drawer fronts.
Yeah. Well,
and this guy,
the baluster here, this is,
we paid a lot of money for that too.
Yeah. we were going to make a ladder out of these. So I just needed to do two sides, you know, like this to match this. And then, you know, you got a ladder.
We did it for one of our projects.
So.
And then I don't know if we ever showed the big reveal. We're getting so excited.
People were flipping out over the crackle stencil. I'm not going to lie.
So that
couldn't believe it.
Isn't that amazing?
Like no more like coat and then letting it dry. Like you could just crackle with that.
Yeah.
You could go light to dark, dark to light, distress over it.
Yeah, dude.
It's so great. There's a blue and the white. I love this one. This looks really chippy and broke down. So you could even do like less paint. So you get like really broken down. Or you could hit it with sandpaper also. And this stuff sands. It's not gooey when you sand it. It really sands to like a super fine powder, and it washes right off the soap and water also. That's something. This is non-toxic. It's water-based, so it's really great that it's not smelly. You know, a lot of things when you get into furniture, you have to worry about like the ventilation and it being toxic. This one doesn't smell, and again, soap and water right off your hands. Yeah. Really easy to use, which is so great.
Let's see.
Yeah, here we can paint, and then I mean, this is paper mache, so you can see if you want to paint a little bit on this, and then we'll do the mason jars. I have a frame here. Okay. What color you want? Here's a pretty pink.
Yes, I love that. That's
that like a
sunset rose.
Yeah. So again, it's great because it comes in 8 ounce and 2 ounce. So if you're doing little project, big project, really thick right out of the bottle. And you could mix it, like, you know, Sherry showed you, you could dilute with water to create a stain, or you could mix it with white. I'm just going to use this brush even though it's dirty. And then again, you can use it by itself. And, you know, I would probably take the glass out if I was really doing this. But you can see just how well that coats.
When you first open your bottle, you want to shake it too. So.
And you're not going to get air bubbles or anything. If you do that. No. This color is beautiful also. And then I see some question has about a protective coat. John, what's the question?
It just says, what kind of protective coat do we use to cover the finished project?
So you could use our FolkArt Home Decor wax, which Sherry showed on the frame. But so this is a clear wax, and you apply it. You can use a soft lint-free cloth, or you could use this great brush. Once your chalk paint's dry, you brush it on. You then let the wax dry. And again, it does not take long, about an hour or so, you said, just a touch. It'll be like a little bit tacky. And then you just take a lint-free cloth and you kind of buff it a little bit, and you'll see just a really subtle shine. And I wish it would show up on camera.
Yeah.
Because this is probably almost dry now. I don't know what corner you put it on. Here it is. So you can see it dries completely clear. This is the corner Sherry put it on. And I'm going to grab this cloth and kind of buff it while you paint.
And see, it doesn't matter what direction you paint in. No matter, it's gonna be flat, gonna level.
And so you just kind of want to loosely, as you can see, it's really hard to see. Sorry guys, but you just want to buff it. You can do like a light circular motion, and you'll feel the chalk is really matte, and it does feel like chalk. But once you put that wax on, it's just a little bit smoother. It's not shiny, it's just very subtle sheen. And it just feels smoother and nicer. Like, I love the feel of that. Like, this is just a little bit rougher because it's like a chalk.
It's kind of velvety feeling.
That's a great way to describe it.
So typically you would wait for it to dry, Kira, before you would buff it, right? That's
Yes.
with the wax. That's what people
So
are asking.
chalk, get all your distressing, all your, everything you want to do. Let that dry. And again, it dries so quick. You could hit it with a hair dryer, but it dries. It's not like one of these 24-hour, 48-hour. It dries, and then you want to apply your wax and let that dry. And then you can go ahead and buff it, and you're done.
Yep.
And like we said, if you're going to put it outdoor, it's heavy traffic, or like you said, you just love chalk paint, you could use another sealer, like a gloss or a satin, to change the look of it. Yeah. So yeah, and then again, one coat, paper mache, these letters, you could distress these, it'd be really great. And do you want to show the mason jar? Because I think that was like the project we wanted everybody to be able to paint a mason jar.
So here I have Cascade, I'm sorry, not Cascade, Maui sand,
which is a beautiful charcoal gray.
Yes, it is one of my favorites.
You love them all. They're all your children.
They are, it's so true. And I went ahead and, whoops. We ran out of brushes here, so I'm just gonna.
Oh yeah. Oh, here's one.
Okay. Here we go.
I'll move the pea. And again, it cleans up with soap and water, which is really great too.
I'm gonna
Don't worry about it. I just have some baby wipes here.
I'm gonna do one of these. Start with one of these, and then we can show how it sands on that one.
And then just to prep your glass, like you said, rubbing alcohol, or just make sure it's really clean.
Yeah.
Windex even would work.
Yes. So I don't know if you can see.
And if you've tried to paint on glass or plastic, a smooth surface like that, it is typically a nightmare. It's tons of coats. You have to worry about brush strokes.
You see how thick that is and how nice it's covering.
No brush strokes because it's going to self-level.
Yeah.
You could do 1 to 2 coats.
And like I did on here, sometimes you could take those off, but it's just as easy just to like freehand it. They're not perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect. They still turned out really nice.
And so how did you do this? Because I know people are going to want to know because they were beautiful. Did you start white or did you layer up?
I started at the bottom.
Okay.
I started with the Maui sand, and then I added the Adirondack white, just a little bit to get a lighter gray, and then a little bit more, and then of course I finished with Adirondack white.
I love these jars. So you did it with the red, the gray. You could do it with any of the colors and the blue.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Super nautical. I love them.
Yeah, I was really pleased with the way those turned out.
Yeah, everyone's really impressed about how there's no brush strokes at all and the coverage of the paint.
And it's crazy, isn't it? It's just awesome.
Yeah.
It is the easiest paint, like foolproof you can do. And again, like painting glass is a nightmare. You would have to do 3 or 4 coats if it was just a regular acrylic. You would have brush strokes. You'd have to wait for it to dry for a long time in between coats.
Yeah, which it's just, it's got so many pluses.
Yeah, very limited surface prep. I mean, other than it just being sort of clean and free of oils and debris, that's pretty much all you have to do, and it'll stick to just about anything.
I mean, I don't think I'm crazy, but even sometimes I don't even clean it because you know, I don't know, you know, some of this stuff is that looks really old. It's got those chunks and those little pieces of sandy looking stuff. I mean, I think sometimes that's part of the charm of it. Yeah, so, you know, occasionally I'll just paint right over it, and it turns out beautiful.
Sure.
Not that you know, not everybody should do that, but.
And could you add that paint, like maybe show how you could dry brush pink on there too?
Oh yeah,
just to like show people.
So yeah, so let's see, let's dip it in the Sunset Rose, get some off. And then we're in here.
Here, do you need more?
Yeah. All right, let's see. Then you just dry brush. So if you can see.
And I love it like over the ball mason.
Yeah,
like, it really like highlights that and brings it out.
Oh yeah, that's amazing how those words just come right to life like that.
So you could even take something like, so if it was smooth, you could take like a detailed piece, like a bead or a piece of like trim from like Home Depot or Lowe's or Michael's, like an accent piece, and actually attach it. And then you could dry brush and it would really bring that detail out. So if you did like a tonal piece and then just highlighted it,
yes,
it would be really beautiful.
Yes.
Awesome. So pretty.
So now, because it dries so quick, it's already dry. Seriously, see? It's already dry. So now we can sand it to distress it. And it's interesting because it's going to look like there's paint up behind here, but it's just so dark in there that it's going to look.
It does really look like this old age. It looks so old. It's crazy that you just started with a clear mason jar. And again, like you did these bottles, you could do wine bottles, you could do milk jars, any of that, like a great collection of these, like all different shapes and sizes. And then you just pop your floral in there. Yeah.
So a couple of folks are asking if you would use Mod Podge over the top of it to protect it.
You could. I mean, you know, you could. The wax though, it works really well on the mason jars.
You want to do some wax?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could use Mod Podge always as a great sealer to finish it, especially if you wanted, there's so many different formulas, so you could use a matte Mod Podge. So for the example that Sherry showed you, I would definitely use a matte Mod Podge because of the chalk.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you wanted to change it, you could use the Mod Podge spray that we've shown, that's a gloss. You could use a gloss, you could use outdoor to give it some extra protection like we talked about. It's just gonna change the finish and the look a little bit. I know we have a mess here.
I know.
Who knew chalk painting could be so messy?
Sorry, I think it's me.
Everyone loves how quickly it's drying too, of course, because you know it's just instant gratification. You don't have that having to wait overnight and then come back.
Oh yeah, you could see the wax actually really good on that.
Do you see it going? Yeah.
You guys see that? It's really subtle.
Yeah, you can see it from the overhead camera. You just to get a little bit of a sheen to it.
And I like to use the word velvet.
Yes.
That's what it feels like after. And actually, like if you run your hand, you can tell the difference.
It even kind of looks like velvet. I mean,
like rich looking.
And it does bring out the color. It does make the color very rich.
Yeah, it like amplifies it.
That's
I think that's everything we've done. We like flew through a lot. Again, great plastic, wood, terracotta. on all your furniture, picture frames. This is a great way to go through your house and upcycle right now, especially if you're home. Like, you could flip a piece of furniture in a weekend, super easy. Pop those knobs off, clean it, and go to town. You could cut your little distressing block, which is magic. You could get your stencils and do some faux crackling, which I love. Yeah. So there's so many different things you can do with this. Does anybody have questions?
Let's just see here. I mean, everyone is like, they're so excited about just how easy it is and how versatile it is, excuse me. Is it the same brush you're using for wax and for painting if you were to clean it in between?
Yes.
Yep, same exact brush. And again, this brush is a lifesaver with the chalk paint because the way it's made, the paint gets in it because it's so thick. And then you just get that really good even coat. And again, you could swirl it with the wax.
Yes, but like it did on the mason jar.
Yep. It's good for dry brushing. It's good for full coverage. So this little guy is really great to have.
I believe you probably could even stencil with it. Honestly.
Yeah, so you could use the crackle stencil. We can stencil with it.
I got another. I'm going to try
to
design.
The crackle.
And this is all water-based, as people have been asking about cleaning up. So the wax, the paint itself is all water-based, and it does clean up with water.
Right, so non-toxic. Again, a lot of times when you get into more like home decor paints and brands, you have to worry about the fumes and it being toxic, and this is not toxic. And again, will wash right off of your hands. So again, you want to protect your surface, but it's going to come right off.
And yes, these brushes are available at Michael's. Paint, stencils, brushes are all available at Michael's.
Yeah, and you can stencil with it.
Yeah,
Sharita said it's very subtle. She's going to go back and add some dark.
I'm going to do the gray. See.
Yeah, so a must-have. So if you guys haven't gotten your supplies, get this brush. Order it. Go pick it up.
Good stencil brushes are hard to find, so this is
I'll tell you what,
awesome.
I think we're going to sell out of that crackle stencil. Everyone's like, I'm going to Michael's right now. So yeah, and not only that, but the brushes, the stencils, all of it. People are very excited.
Oh, see?
Look at that. How beautiful that is. Yeah.
Kind of your Vanna today. Yeah, amazing. So great. All right, any other questions?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, people have been following along and asking.
There's so much you can do with it, but again, the home decor chalk is the way to go. Like, and again, there's a lot of other boutique type chalk paints that are really expensive.
Yes.
And this is very affordable at Michael's. So, and it is the same, if not better quality than you can buy.
Okay.
Since it came out, and I've not had anything that I've ever done. Nothing. It's not come off. I mean, it's been perfect.
Everybody is very inspired by this class. I've had a number of people say it's their favorite class so far, and just everyone is saying they can't wait to try it. So everyone is super excited.
It's fun to do ones like this list about the product because there's so many things you can do with it. Like we want to inspire you guys and see what you make. So
honestly, it's almost like people have so many ideas that they're just putting out there. I can't even, like, they come so fast I can't even address them all.
That's awesome. That's a busy weekend for everybody.
I would say as a general rule, guys, just try it. You know, like someone said, can I paint it on a gourd? Well, of course you can, you know.
So we've done pumpkins.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yes.
So fake pumpkins and real pumpkins. It is great. Chalk paint a pumpkin and distress it. Gosh, I wish we had like everything here to show you because we've done so much. Like create that really beautiful rustic pumpkin, like even for all your fall decor. Like that's when I get really excited about this.
You do a pumpkin, get your block, distress the pumpkin with, you know, they're beautiful. Add some gold, you know, we have the treasure gold, which looks amazing with the chalk paint.
Yeah, because of the contrast.
Yes.
And you could even block the treasure gold. So if you chalk painted a pumpkin black and you could take your treasure gold and trim it, it would be beautiful.
I'll tell you what, folks, I mean, go to Michael's and get your paint, and then go to plattonline.com and just search for FolkArt Home Decor Chalk. We have a lot of projects on there. We also have some tutorials on there. If you go to Plaid's YouTube channel, we have some tutorials about working with chalk paint there as well. There's a lot of content out there on working with chalk paint and so many amazing ideas. So I would definitely recommend doing that. Someone just said, repeat it again. It's plaidonline.com or you know, Plaid Crafts on YouTube, on Facebook, and just search for chalk paint and you'll see a number of resources. Of course, Michael's is the place to go to actually purchase the paint at this time. You can go in store, you can order it online. Many of the places are doing curbside pickup still. So this is a fun project that you guys can just have a lot of fun with while you're home, you know?
Yeah, we love it.
Yes, we do.
So
Get your chalk paint on.
we do, and we need to pick a winner. Is that right?
Yes, pick a winner.
Okay, so I've got my phone where it's easier to scroll through the comments, you know, and I'm gonna just pick somebody here. Okay, our winner today is Lina Gutierrez Ibarra. I had to pick like the longest name out of anybody.
Yay!
Of course I did.
Lina, congratulations.
Lina Gutierrez Ibarra. So Lina, just go, if you would, to Plaid's Facebook page and direct message us and just tell us that you are the winner. Oh, I see that she's got it. Okay. So yeah, go to Plaid's Facebook page, Lina, and just direct message us and let us know you were the winner. And
so
we
thank
will
you guys.
get your product.
Yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you, Michaels. Check this video out and all the other classes on Michael's community classroom page. Get your supplies at Michael's, order them or curbside pick them up and stay safe. We'll be back Monday night with more Let's Paint Live, and we've got, I think, a Mod Podge and a tie-dye class next week.
Yay.
But we love chalk, so if you guys like this, comment. We'll do another chalk class. I'd love to do a piece of furniture.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
It'd be awesome and show different techniques. So we'll think about that. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Thanks, Michaels. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.